Hey guys, so today is a recap of day 3 of our trip to Eureka Springs. It's just me tonight. Andrew's already in bed. So our morning started off around 6 a.m. That's when our boys usually wake up. And the first thing we do in the morning is let all the puppies out. So the puppies sleep in kennels all night long, and they are ready to go to the bathroom in the morning when they wake up, and they're hungry. So we let all the puppies out, we feed them, and then we had 4 dogs with us this morning as well. So all 4 dogs went for a walk, went to the bathroom, were fed, and then we put all the dogs and puppies away and we had breakfast ourselves. So our friends came up from Louisiana that were getting 3 of the older dogs that we had with us. So they got here around 9 o'clock and picked up 3 of the 4 dogs that we had with us, and that left us with just Bailey and our 11 puppies. So once the older 3 dogs left, we headed out to the lake for a day of swimming. So we weren't really sure what to expect from the lake. I had seen this place mentioned a couple different times on Pinterest, and so I had it on my list of things to do, but I wasn't sure where we were going or what to expect really. So we kind of drove around for a while looking for the place that we were hoping to get to. I'd seen some pictures of like some waterfalls and people swimming and kind of like a beachy area, but we weren't sure where that was. So the place we went to was called Hog Scald Hollow, and it's right outside Eureka Springs. It took us about 20 minutes to get there. So we got there. The place that we were at originally was not super clean. It had a lot of beer bottles and beer cans and fishing lines and hooks. So I made the kids keep their shoes on the whole time. They all have Crocs, water-friendly shoes. So I made them keep their shoes on pretty much the entire time we were there, because I was so worried that they were going to step on something. And the longer we were there, the more they were swimming, the deeper in the water they were getting. River pretty much slept the whole time we were there this morning. He was in the car with Andrew sleeping, so I had the older 3 kids, and they kept wanting to swim further out into the lake and explore. There was a lot of cool rock formations to climb on and jump off of. And so Quincy and Fletcher both are really great swimmers. They can swim by themselves, they can swim underwater, but Ro cannot swim by himself yet, and he does not like the cold. So Ro was not a fan of the water. He was pretty whiny all morning, didn't want to swim, didn't want to get in the water, wanted me to hold him. So Andrew and I talked, and we thought it would be a good idea to get some sort of raft where we could be on the water with Quincy and Fletcher while they were swimming, but not necessarily in the water with them, so that Ro and River wouldn't be cold. So we were there this morning for probably about 1.5 hours, I would say. And then we loaded everybody back in the car to go get lunch. So we just ran through McDonald's, got lunch for the kids, and then we stopped at Walmart and bought a raft. So we went back to our campsite to eat lunch. We let all the dogs out and the puppies out again. And then we got back in the car and drove back to Hog Scald Hollow, and we blew up our raft and got ready to get in the water. So Hog Scald Hollow is full of boats and jet skis and just really nice boats. They have a bunch of people that had rafts hooked up to their boats so they could sunbathe on them, and lots of jet skis and people tubing. And so we pulled up in our little inflatable raft that we had, and with our paddles, and we got in the lake and we paddled across the lake in a raft, and we were getting the funniest looks and people pointing at us because they're puttering around in their super nice boats, and we had an inflatable raft with our family of 6 in it. So we got back over to the rock formations that we'd been at in the morning, and as soon as we got there, it thundered, and we were like, oh my gosh, we had just paddled all the way across the lake with our kids. River cried the entire time because he wanted my paddle that I needed to paddle across the lake with, so I would not give it to him. So he was not happy the entire ride across the lake. And then we got to the rock formations that the kids had played on all morning and were excited to get back to, and then we told them we had to load back up and leave. So Quincy and Fletcher pretty much cried all the way back to the car, and everybody was continuing to point and laugh at our inflatable raft as we paddled back across the lake. And we got into the car just in time for a complete thunderstorm to roll in out of nowhere. It was lightning, thundering, pouring down rain, pretty much came out of nowhere. So at that point, we just decided to kind of call it a day. So we drove back to our campsite. We put a movie on for the kids because it was pouring down rain. And then the rain finally cleared off later on, probably around 6:30. So I put the kids to bed, and at that point I wanted to go do a little exploring myself. So the first place I went to was St. Elizabeth Catholic Church. So it was right across from the Crescent Moon Hotel. I had read about both of those, the St. Elizabeth Church as well as the Crescent Moon Hotel, on multiple different Pinterest articles that I was reading. So the St. Elizabeth Hotel, or St. Elizabeth Church, was absolutely beautiful. It was nestled up high in the hills, so it had a really pretty overlook, and it was just stunning. It was open inside as well, so I went inside, walked around. The inside was beautiful. They had candles lit everywhere. It was just gorgeous. So after that, the Crescent Moon Hotel is right above the church. So I walked up to the Crescent Moon Hotel. I was going to go in and walk around. It is supposedly haunted. And I thought that would be really fun to do. It was like 7 o'clock at night, and I was by myself, but I got up to the door and it said that it was closed to any outside patrons. They have a restaurant inside, so only people using the restaurant or staying in the hotel overnight were allowed in. So I did not get to go in and explore the hotel, so I just kind of walked around the grounds, took a couple pictures, and that was pretty much it. So then I headed back to our campsite, and we let all the puppies out again. Andrew had stayed back at the campsite with the boys while they were sleeping. So we let the puppies out again. We had visitors come over and hold the puppies, socialize the puppies, so that was a lot of fun. But that was pretty much the extent of our day. We did the lake, and I visited the Crescent Moon Hotel and the St. Elizabeth Church, and that was it. It was a long day though. We spent a lot of time in the sun and on the water. Kids were exhausted by bedtime, and tomorrow we are hoping to visit the Thorn Crown Chapel. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to come to Eureka Springs, so I'm really, really excited about that. I'm not sure if the kids are going to enjoy it quite as much as I hope I do, but I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned for my review on the chapel tomorrow.